Hi, welcome to End Credit Reviews, and Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is criminally underrated. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is an animated movie from 1993. It was based off the Batman the Animated Series television show during that time, and it is directed by Eric Ramsky and Bruce Timm, who worked on that show as well. It features the voice talents of Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Dana Delany, and the late Abe Vigoda. This was originally supposed to go direct to video, but Warner Brothers wanted a theatrical release. They gave the movie more money, but pushed the release date for less than a year to work on it. When it was released on Christmas Day of 1993, it was a box office bomb, but it did much better when it arrived on home video in 1994 like originally intended. When people ask what's your favorite Batman movie, some would say The Dark Knight or the Batman movie from the 80s, but mine is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. So before I begin, I just want to make a few statements. First is the fact that this is an analyzation, not a review, so there will be spoilers throughout. But if you want to see my spoiler-free review, you can click in the description box below. Second is the fact that just because I think this movie is underrated doesn't mean I won't point out some things that I might not have liked about this movie. And finally, this is a copyright disclaimer. This pretty much states that I do not own any of the video, audio, or music footage from this movie. So without further ado, here is why I think Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is criminally underrated. We open up the credits with an addition of an amazing choir. This soundtrack easily rivals that of Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman. We then see Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy, busts a mob meeting when one of the mobsters, voiced by Dick Miller, runs away. He is then confronted by a masked figure known as the Phantasm, voiced by Stacy Keach.
Your angel of death awaits.
The Phantasm kills a mobster, Batman is too late, and he is blamed for the killing. This leads to the agenda of a politician named Arthur Reeves, voiced by Hart Brochner.
He's a loose cannon, Commissioner. It's not just my opinion. A lot of people, including the police I might add, think Batman's as unstable as the crooks he brings in.
This is a point that some people have brought up about Batman for what he does. As Bruce Wayne, he later does run to Arthur and tells Bruce that he's seen an old friend.
Thanks for the handkerchief, Arthur. You know where you can stick it.
This sets into motion a flashback to when he knew a friend named Andrea Beaumont, voiced by Dana Delany. Keep in mind that this movie does cut back and forth between the past and the present. In a way, it's very Nolan-esque, but this is before Christopher Nolan even started to make movies. I also like that in the present day time, Batman is trying to find out who the Phantasm is. What I appreciate about this movie is the fact that it establishes that Batman solves crimes. He's not just beating up criminals and driving the Batmobile all the time, he's also a detective.
Bruce?
In the past, we also see Bruce's first night as a crime fighter, but there is a noticeable problem.
Who's this clown?
You heard me.
Yeah, you heard him, boys. You heard Mr. Kung Fu.
He goes after the criminals who are trying to steal empty boxes? Maybe it's just fakes in case the truck gets searched or whatever. He stops the criminals and barely escapes. He then later reflects on this event.
I had the edge. I could feel it. There was only one thing wrong. They weren't afraid of me.
This perfectly explains why he dresses up like a bat, because if criminals fear him, then he'll be able to fight crime more efficiently. While his romance blooms, it does lead to him having second thoughts.
What the heck am I doing, Alfred? This isn't part of the plan. I must be going nuts.
But that doesn't lead to some foreshadowing of Andrea's father conducting some business with some suspicious men. After he tries to stop a robbery and being sidetracked by Andrea's safety, he is hit and the robbers get away. This again causes a dilemma within himself.
I can't put myself on the line as long as there's someone waiting for me to come home.
So much that leads to this very deep scene.
I know I made a promise, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't count on being happy.
That line right there is on par with the writing of The Dark Knight. He then proposes to Andrea, but a flock of bats rushes out of a nearby cave and foreshadows Bruce's destiny. Later that night, he takes her home, but also notices a very suspicious fellow. Andrea finds out that her father owes mobsters money and wants to get out of the country. This leads to her breaking up with Bruce. And with that, he finally dons the cape and cowl in the best scene in the entire movie. I get chills every time I watch that. Back to the present day time, a mobster named Valestra, voiced by Abe Vigoda, wants protection from Batman.
Pull over. It's not very healthy in here.
Could we just please make this a meme? He is then desperate and goes to the Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill.
What do I look like? Pest control?
Think, you fool. Once he gets me, how long till he gets you? You know what I'm talking about. Your hands are just as dirty. Dirtier. Don't touch me, old man.
I don't know where you've been.
I love how this Joker is a perfect balance of going from being a psychotic person to being a playful clown in a flip of a dime. The Joker sets a trap, but is surprised that it's not Batman. Batman later confronts the Phantasm gets away, and Batman is chased by the police. In a construction site, a SWAT member shoots a gas barrel and causes a huge explosion. This scene is not only reminiscent of the graphic novel of Batman Year One, but this moment is the most vulnerable we've ever seen Batman in. He evades the police and runs from them with his mask off. This is not only shocking to see this happen, but Batman is also running for his life. After being saved by Andrea, who had a hunch for who he really was, explains why she left but came back.
Your father?
He said he'd get them, somehow. When I heard about Chucky Saul, well, I had to come back.
After a romantic night, Bruce Wayne figures out who that person from his past really was.
Oh, no.
While this happens, the Joker visits Arthur and tells him that Batman is innocent,
I've seen the guy. He looks more like the ghost of Christmas future.
but also hints at their history.
Don't you remember? You, me, Sally, and the gang?
He then, in a very disturbed way, injects him with Joker toxin, and he ends up in the hospital being hysterical. Batman confronts him, and he spills the beans on his dirty past.
You sold him to the mob.
I was broke, desperate. They said all they wanted was their money back.
This leads to the dramatic reveal that Andrea Belmont is the Phantasm, and the Joker killed her father a long time ago. Batman then comes to her rescue, and they have an exchange of words.
Look what they did to us! What we could have had! They had to pay!
But Andy, what will vengeance solve?
If anyone knows the answer to that, Bruce, it's you.
We finally see Batman fight the Joker in a miniature of Gotham City, and it's very symbolic. Another thing I appreciate about this movie is the fact that not only is there blood, but you feel the impact of the violence at the same time. The Joker sets a whole part to explode, and Andrea confronts him one last time. Now, if you prefer Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger or Jared Leto as the Joker, they could never top this laugh. Although Batman does survive this, he is depressed because he failed to save Andrea. But then he sees her locket to show that she's alive, but at the same time, she's lonely like him.
I'm sorry. Do you want to be alone?
I am.
We then see Batman one last time in Gotham City as he swings away. The main theme about this movie is how Bruce and Andrea had a destiny, but not in the ways that they thought. They wanted to be with each other, but ironically separated and lonely at the same time. Speaking of destiny, seeing Bruce Wayne squinting at the Joker in his past life, and seeing him flicking a cigarette at his car foreshadows to how they were destined to be enemies. And that is why I think Batman Mask of the Phantasm is criminally underrated. If I had any problem with this movie, it's that they never really cleared Batman's name. However, in the book tying to the movie, it was said that a private investigator looked into it and cleared Batman's name. It's sad that many people have never even heard of this movie. This is a highly underrated movie and just so happens to be one of my favorite movies of all time. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.